Amazing. Every day I do my morning show, the AP morning show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today was yet another amazing day. And yeah, it's been great so far, man. How about you?
Yeah. I just caught the Museum of Louis Armstrong did a show about relationship between Satchmo and Dave Brubeck. I did not know anything about that history.
Oh wow. I don't know anything about that history. Wow.
Yeah, they were tight. They toured the world.
Mm.
That was amazing.
Man, I know that was really fascinating.
It was good. It's going to be rebroadcast. You know, if you get a chance to check it out. It was. I didn't recognize any of the players. They were all definitely youngins, but they had a whole band. It was cool.
Where'd you see it, by the way? Where were you watching it?
It was on Facebook. It was just
gotcha.
Yep. There's a premiere video release. So.
Oh wow. Sweet, man. Sweet.
Yeah, that was cool. And my local coffee shop. I live in Charles Village, so I'm up.
Okay.
Yeah. So this place called Bird in the Hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I went there, grabbed a sandwich, and I went through the bookshop, which I love. I love going in the bookstores and.
Oh, nice.
Seeing what's happening. So they're allowing a little browsing again. So that's been good.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I didn't know you live in Charles Village. So are you near Eddie by any chance? Are you actually near Eddie?
Yeah, I'm a block away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm 1 block away from Eddie.
Right, Eddie in the porch. I can't wait until it gets warm again. So
yeah,
the porch series can jump back into play.
Yeah. Have you been able to do much playing lately, or has it just been?
So, as of late, most of my playing, of course, has been virtual when I have, I haven't actually focused on doing a whole lot of like gigging lately. I have like, a number of other things that for me on a regular basis are part of like that collective of music and business. And I also have my own business online, which is actually my own music business online, which is actually like my quote unquote 9 to 5, if you will, or it's the breadwinner. I have a residual income business. Like really right now, I don't even really actively work it except for like answering emails for like 10 to 15 minutes a day. But the rest is on autopilot because in 2007, I launched a business called Fruition Music, which is a backing track business. Mm-hmm. And from 2008 to 2014, I was in the gospel industry. So I created like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of backing tracks. And so it went from 0 to a 6-figure business in 2014, 15. And, from that time, that's what pays the bill, so to speak. So what I do on top of that is everything else that you see me do. I'm on top of that. I'm a piano artist. I do gigs and that kind of thing here and there. I only really do, the kind of gigs that really feed me, and a lot lately really has just been my own stuff because I've been fortunate enough to not have to gig, if you will, Yeah. So usually, if I am gigging, it's doing some solo piano work or playing with the trio, my trio, Aaron Hill Trio, or my group, Fruition Experience, or just kind of, hanging out with people here or there that I really enjoy playing with. So yeah, as of late, I haven't, besides a couple virtual experiences, everything else has been like my consultation business for creative content strategy and helping people with branding and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's been I have merch and that kind of thing. I've been creating merch and just being a public figure. Being a social media figure with inspirational content and quotes and writings and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I get to enjoy my creativity, in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I haven't been doing a whole lot of gigging. I got a gig this Friday with Clarence. I think that's for the Enoch Pratt Library. And then like 2 more virtual experiences this month. In fact, one was a client that just reached out to me. That's been a client since I started my business in like 2008. So I'm going to do a special virtual experience with her. Other than that, I've done a couple recordings, a couple like Blue House recordings, a couple
Yeah.
of albums and that kind of thing. I'm about to release, I'm in the midst of releasing an album that was recorded at Blue House with Amma Chandra, a vocalist, in November. So yeah, getting ready to release that. So that's really mainly it. I'm looking forward to really what I'm doing now is planning for March, like planning for like spring, because this past year with my outside series, Street Serenades, I did 110 concerts, outside with that series. And so it was a great run. And then now I've taken this time to sit down and put some more pen to paper and add on top of that another level of business. So really, I'm looking forward to kicking that off in spring when it gets warm, and not only jumping back out here to the spots I was doing here, but also planning for some tours around the U.S., even possibly some RV life kind of tours with taking the Street Serenades to just outdoors in other areas, remaining safe, but still, being able to share the music. Yeah, so that's mainly what's going on with me. The only other musical thing that's going on is I am looking to record an album with the trio at the top of March, because the trio has now been playing together for some time in these Street Serenades, and basically all the live recordings that we've done are really recordings. But I'm gonna go to Blue House and actually, do a trio recording. Hopefully, top of March is what I'm looking at. So that's really it as far as what's on my musical palette, man. What about you?
That's cool. Who's is Eddie the bass player in your trio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And who's drumming?
Eric Kennedy.
Oh, Eric Kennedy's drumming.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
and I've been grateful because, as being the musician that you are, it's like some people you play with and you play music together, like you get called on gigs because you can just play, but then there are people you play with where you have a sound together and chemistry, and like this trio has like a sound. Like I've found my trio, found my trio, and I wanted to start a trio because I have my other group for now since 2012, Fruition Experience, and that's more like I call it cosmic soul. That's more like a soul and jazz group with, two vocalists at the helm and myself, bass, keys, and then, sometimes sax and trumpet. But I also am a deep, deep lover of trio. I'm a huge like trio guy. And so I wanted to form my own trio. And so boom, here it is. This past trying to think, when was the first one? I'll dig up the archives to see what the first one, but it was definitely like this past summer with the Street Serenade series.
Yeah.
And so I found
yeah, it's awesome. So with that trio, with the Street Serenade, the idea here was just to take the music to the streets in different parts of the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep, that was the only goal. Take the music to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
No more inside, gigs for a period of time. And yeah, I was like, I'm such a people person that I was just excited about bringing the music to the people without the what they call it, without the friction, without like anything in between, no gig or gig fee, no.
Yeah, no financial, no, none of that.
Yeah.
You took that away from it.
Well, I didn't take the financial part away from it. I just reformed it. Like I'm making more finances than ever now because of the fact that, it's a different kind of thing. So you got people that, first of all, just the surprise factor, just to be able to come around the corner and not expect that you're walking, through the park or walking up the street at like Ellicott City, one of our favorite places, Ellicott City Main Street. You don't expect to turn the corner and just see, a world-class trio or see a pianist, just so it's, as far as the reciprocity and the finances, like it's to the point now where like I'm always a person that pivots with the times. I'm naturally like looking at things and pivoting, and I love being creative. So as opposed to it giving me anxiety, it gave me excitement and motivation to do something different.
Right.
And since I've done it now, it is actually the most important gig for me. Like even when the world comes back to quote unquote normal, or goes to the new norm as far as how we'll gig in venues, Street Serenades is actually my top. Is nothing more important than that for me,
Right.
because it's lucrative. It opens up the top to allow for more opportunity. It's more deeply effective because of the surprise factor, and so people give more. Then there's multiple giving streams, because whether it's tip money in the basket, or whether it's tip money online, or whether I'm with a venue who we just happen to play outside of their shop, so it's a guarantee. It's like the income actually is in a different direction. And then it's just so organic. It's so organic. It's something about people being able to experience a street musician. And in this case, like I invested, I bought, in fact, this keyboard behind me. This is a Roland Juno DS.
Yeah.
I got this because of the fact that this is one of only 7 professional keyboards, and this being weighted and everything, that can run off of batteries.
Yes.
So to get that, and then to grab a couple Bose S1s, the Bluetooth speakers, and to go outside with this world-class sound and no power. I'm a kid in a candy store out here. Like, I'm having so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
What about you, man? How have things, been panning out for you in response to everything?
Well, let's see. So I'm, I don't know how I'm 57. I have 2 grown children.
Yeah.
And, me and my wife parted ways 3 years ago. So I'm kind of on my own again, And I moved back to the city. I was way out in Baltimore County on the farm for about a year.
Like what part of Baltimore County, if I may ask?
Hereford, Maryland, man.
Hereford, yeah. I remember playing Hereford in high school. We played those when I was in high school playing football.
Mm-hmm. So, I have friends who had a farm, like, come stay out here till you can get it together. And then while I was out there, COVID hit. And when COVID hit, all of a sudden, all this money started coming in. That's pretty hilarious. The unemployment came in, and Maryland State Arts Council was offering some grants.
Right.
Stuff did happen, man.
Mm-hmm.
Provided enough for me to get back into town here, and then some. So, so I was with Eddie. Actually, I started that playing in the Parks jam session with Eddie before I even moved back.
Nice. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we were playing every week, and we were just having these pop-up jam sessions.
Right.
Yeah. I have enjoyed playing the streets forever. I lived in San Francisco, and I used to play at the cable car turnaround. Where all the tourists were waiting to ride the cable cars.
Oh, wow. So I'll tell you this little fun fact. I haven't stepped foot on California soil yet. In fact, right. I've been excited about it. But yeah, but I've heard of these places though, even like what you just said there. Wow.
Yeah. There's no lack of places to play.
Right.
So now it's winter time and everything's on hold. There's some gigs here and there. It doesn't seem like there's too much happening.
Yeah.
The idea of wearing a mask for 3 hours indoors is not exactly my kind of thing.
Man. You and me both, brother. I could fist bump you through this screen, man. Like
it's not.
It's so tough, man. It's like
it just disconnects from the whole connecting thing in a way.
Right.
So I've been, I'm
my struggle is My struggle is like when I play, I'm so engulfed that my breathing takes on like a different kind of breathe. Like so like, man, I can't even breathe, because I breathe as if I'm working out, and it's not because I'm tired. It's just, that's how I express. So it's like, woo, yeah.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I'm in no hurry to kind of just rush in and play inside somewhere in that capacity.
For sure.
Yeah,
me either.
I'm not sure how much infrastructure there is right now to support.
Right.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've been teaching online. I'm in teaching 2 community colleges, Frederick and Howard.
Oh wow.
So I've been there a long time in the music departments. So I got a bunch of students, and it's some money, and there's some players. So it fulfills that. But I've always been the person that likes to balance the gigs with the teaching.
I love it.
If I'm just teaching all the time, that's
sucks. It sucks. That's just bottom line. It just sucks. It just sucks, man. Because I mean, there's like, I know just from being a teacher as well, like, I mean, there's a joy you get out of definitely helping another human being and helping with the growth and someone to reach their dreams. But man, it sucks, man, when you can't play though. Like at the same time, like it's not. There's nothing that satisfies playing but playing. Like there's no other aspect of music that satisfies this. So I feel
no substitution. So like you said, man, it is going to warm up eventually, probably sooner than later due to global warming.
I know, right? I know. Look, let me tell you, bro. I'm sorry. That's a whole nother tangent right there. That's like one of those things where, I tell people, we're in December and all of a sudden we get this great day and they're like, wow, isn't this great? We get to go outside and just wear a t-shirt. And I'm like, okay, like I get it, get it that we're going to be appreciative of a warm day, but you do know that this is not good though, right? Like I'd rather it be cold and properly cold than to like celebrate being outside warm. That's not a good sign.
Right. No, as you're well aware, man, we're up against it on many levels here as a planet. It seems like it's all coalescing at once. Our survival, how we're going to get along, and now the economics too. It's pretty whack.
I agree with you on that.
So I've been thinking about, how's it going to pan out? How are things going to change? What's the future look like for musicians? Right. What's the purpose of music? Is it even a commodity? I don't know. It's like there's a lot of questions. I would like to put some energy into working with a group of folks, and I'm kind of on the search.
Okay.
About people who are asking those questions, thinking outside the box, a little bit like yourself, in terms of like just take the music out to the streets,
right?
See what's happening on that front,
right.
But also, it's like, how as a music community can we help the current situation? I mean, there are basics. People got to eat, people got to have health care, people got to have housing. I mean, and there are a lot of people working on that front, I think, right now. I think Todd Marcus comes to mind, on that kind of level.
Right.
But for musicians, I guess kind of like myself, maybe you too, other folks in our community, I'm not sure, I'm just thinking, how as musicians can something happen or something change, as a community?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I mean, I think that there's a number of different answers to that, like, I mean, there's, oh, my baby girl. Hey, Aria.
Who's that?
That's my baby girl. That's my daughter. One of my daughters, Aria, Flawless Features. Hey, Dad, she says. Hey, baby girl. How you doing?
Let's go.
She said, hi. Hey, baby girl. I love it. OMG. Yeah. So, I think that there's a number of answers to that, and I think that it's kind of like an all of the above. I look at this time as an all hands on deck time. Yeah. I look at this as a time where like new ideas are welcome because of the fact that right now we're having to regrid, so to speak, from scratch. So, the slate has been wiped clean, which means there's no better idea than another to some degree. And we have the ability to kind of try some different things out, see what makes sense. We have within reason, as far as the kind of experiences, we have nothing to lose as far as trying new things out, as far as like, we'll coming together working this way, we're coming together working that way. Of course, we have some restrictions to that, but what I mean as far as like just certain formulas where we want to try different things out. Right now, there's no norm on the table, there is no norm. So
right.
This is why, like, I think my contribution, I feel like personally, my contribution comes in a few different forms. I feel like, number one, with this street serenades, like I'm trying to tell I'm trying to tell every musician possible that I know to get out there and do the same thing I'm doing. Like,
Yes.
just bottom line,
Yes.
Remain safe, keep your distance, but develop a format to take the music outside so that people passing by can enjoy and listen. When I was out at my street serenade at Ellicott City one time, which was one of the main places where we play and where the trio is, there was a guy who was interviewing me for the Baltimore Times for an article in the Times about the street serenades. And when we talked, he was just like, "You make this look so easy." Like, he's like, "Everybody I talk to, they're crying the blues, and you're out here like, yeah, it's great. I'm making out well." And I was like, "It's just perspective. That's all."
Right.
Like, I'm not working with any more or less than anybody else. It's just that I'm naturally a person that when change comes, I don't do this and clamor. Like, I immediately start figuring out how can I respond to this. And I'm so used to being a creative that I'm not afraid to try different ideas out. I'm not locked into one way of doing things, and I was like, so this was just common sense to me. But one of the things I realized, like the old saying says, common sense is not common to everyone. So now what I do is everything I do, I just try to shout it from the mountaintops to give other people the idea to do the same thing. So that's one of my biggest things. I mean, it didn't take me much to, I had to do a few things because of being a pianist in order to, get that going outside. But like, if you play acoustic guitar, if you play saxophone, if you sing, like, shit.
No, the technology is totally making it way easier to present in a very higher level fashion. That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So I feel like that's one contribution that I have. The other contribution is doing things like this. Like, I like to have as many conversations as possible with as many musicians, giving them ideas, helping them out when it comes to what to do during this time or what they can do. To me, that's my way of helping the hub of musicians and artists and that kind of thing. And I don't even just mean with musical ideas. There's some people that I've talked to where during this time, the relationship that they have with music is one where if they can't do this one thing, like they literally are stuck. And it's not like me where other things flow natural to them. So, I may be talking to them about something that is completely in a different direction outside of, that's not music, but it's something else they have an interest in, and pouring more there. And then using the flow of that and even the success of that to add music back into it, although it may be in a different way, it might not be full capacity, but then just finding the thing that matters to them the most as far as expressing music and rest that on top of this form. So I'm just really helping people with mindset as much as possible during the time. You know what I mean? I feel like, at least from the beginning, that's a huge contribution. Then you have, other things. Musicians can collaborate on projects. We can do things where we do virtual and we record our own parts and all those kind of things. You have,
people do some of that.
Yeah.
Of course, the live playing, but
it's like completely different. Nothing. I think the one thing, and this is kind of the way I look at it, and I think it's just my natural personality. Like, I think where people get into like stuck places or pitfalls is when a time like this happens and when people are looking at things to exactly take the place of things that they are not. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I do understand how hard it is to perform to a virtual audience. I do understand how hard it is to definitely not have people. Like, it sucks the life out of many of us. But, I just think like, well, how can you find other things to do that do something different, which is why I'm enjoying what we'll get to in a few minutes, why I'm enjoying this Clubhouse thing so much, because it actually restores one of the biggest pieces missing, and that's feeling another person, feeling their energy, hearing their voice, hearing their laughter, hearing their direct expressions, and being able to take that in, that social part.
Right. The kind of part that sometimes is the least connecting on Facebook or any of those others.
There you go.
Right. That's interesting.
Hey, Noah says, what's up? Tell Noah I said hello, Aria. Tell Noah I said hello. I hope he is enjoying this as well. But yeah, it takes away those things. And I am, which is, when you sent me the message and before we even decided to catch up, what you said, just really resonated with me, where you were like, you really seem like a person that is just about responding to change and changing with the times and being up to date. And that really is true for me, so I use that to actually help others, where that doesn't come as easy,
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, there's like this balance between the technology of like a platform like Clubhouse, which definitely seems to be, it's very engaging, and there's a lot there for a lot of people in a lot of different places on the planet.
Right.
And then at the same time, it's like also our local, just our local community, our musicians, or the people we have worked with, or the people we kind of tangibly know about, in our Baltimore areas at the moment.
Right.
Trying to figure out what's going on there, or I'm not sure, but it does seem like it's an age of networking, and that's important.
Yeah, big time. I think the other thing for many people too is, again, finding themselves in ways that may be outside of if like performing in front of an audience is like their main cup of tea, like the only thing they do, the only thing they're good at, or what have you, then I'm trying to talk to those kind of people more about just other interests in life to get into, to be honest, as you know what I mean? Because
like for me, I like cooking, and I got some skills in that area, and there's a way of making food and feeding other folks that is extremely satisfying.
Yeah.
Right. And I've thought about it. I said, this could be something you can move into. There are people who will, pay for a service to have meals made for them.
100%.
And
then you'll be surprised. And this is where I like to have fun. So when I started off music, I started off as a conscious hip hop lyricist. And that was when I was like 14. And by the time I got to 16 was when I started trying my hand at production. So I got into production and became a producer. And it was one of the places where I found my home before starting to learn how to play the piano at 18 and 19, and then starting to perform live when I was 21. It was that production for me was like cooking. I enjoy putting different ingredients together and looking at ideas and bringing them to life. So I enjoy doing that now with people and their interests and that kind of thing. Like, it's the same kind of mind. So when I think about that, first thing that comes to mind for me is like how you could take something with cooking with this, which is so organic and so relatable, and be able to share that with people in a way where you could share that with people, and then you could do something simple like at the end of the show. Always, you just play a tune. It's just that kind of fun thing, and you would be surprised as like the level of like where something like that would even have a deep impact and could cause like a surge of newness amongst an audience that even something like doing a traditional gig where all you're doing is playing guitar wouldn't do, because it's a different format. I love that. I don't know if you've been seeing Vince Evans.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been loving, like, every time I see Vince live cooking, I'm like so there. I'm so there just because it's a different interest. You can see his head is there, like he's accepted everything, and he loves cooking. I've known that from even before, but it's engaging and that kind of thing, and you're pulled in, and he's totally there, and it's something that's really really fun. And so if he took something like that and then took us to the piano at the end and just played, like, his music would probably explode on another level just because it's in a different context and it's a creative kind of thing, added to it. So
the music cooking shows, man.
Yep. I'm
Years ago, I came across the cookbook, and it was like one recipe of each musician. They had like McCoy Tyner's favorite omelet, and
oh wow.
and they had like it was cool.
Oh man, let me tell you something. That's the wild part about that. And again, this is my creative mind. I would take that, I would find that cookbook, take that, and then literally integrate it as a part of the show. Like today, I'm just making this omelet or whatever, and at the end, play a McCoy tune. Like, oh my gosh, like on guitar and just oh man. So anyway, creativity. I love, man. This is why like I guess you could say I figured out that I was an entrepreneur around like 15 or 16 when I was just starting to work, and I love working, but I was always looking for opportunities where I could like create my own kind of flow, whether it was the way that I work in the hours, or whether it was how I worked, or it was being my own independent representative and having my own services. Like I was always looking for something like that.
Right.
So I just so happened to become a full-time musician at 21. And I was at that time working for the church. And when I got that job, I immediately went into just this art of entrepreneurship and creatively developing my living, And so ever since then, like my whole success journey has been just creating, having fun, putting together different pieces to a fun puzzle and creating a living, in that way. So I love having fun with just these kind of creative ideas. Yeah, I would do a music cooking show immediately, like immediately. Just hang out, you're going to cook something and show it. And of course, like, especially in your case, it's nothing just to grab a guitar and just boom, 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 and have fun.
That's right.
Right. So
wow, very cool. So definitely, it sounds like, definitely part of, so Clubhouse has been important.
Yeah.
For where you're at and what's been happening.
Clubhouse has been like the most important. If I give you the spiel on Clubhouse, so basically you have the fastest mode of connection on a planet when it comes to connecting with another human being, and whether it's something you have to offer or something you want to glean, or a question you have, or something you're trying to do with connecting with another person.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fastest mechanism because it's this right here. It's all live interaction. There's no text, there's no photos, there's no chat, there's no anything that's outside of just the medium of talking to a person on the phone. And in this case, like when I first learned about it, I was like, this is like three-way calling on steroids, where you get the opportunity to drop into anybody's three-way call around the world, but it's based on topics and topics of conversation, which in this case we call rooms.
Yeah.
So you're looking at these different topics, and when you find one that's right in line with you, you're dropping in as a listener.
Yeah.
Or you can take part in the conversation, but you're immediately finding your tribe. And it's not like looking at a picture of something and saying, oh, wow, this is nice, but still having a mystery as far as the person behind it and, those kind of things.
Right.
Yeah, it removes the mystery. I call it the 6th degree of separation remover. Like it removes that. It gives you the ability to build tribe in the moment. It's interesting because I knew this from the beginning too. It's an environment where etiquette is of the most importance. Like it's about building good etiquette and having good etiquette in conversation. The developers every day are striving to when they're doing the updates, they're striving to make sure everything is conducive to all the things we want and that we talk about every day as far as our morals, principles, and values.
Right.
It's about empathy and compassion and respect and mindfulness and awareness and not having too much power and not manipulating other people. Like it's built on that. And when you read the manifesto, the write-up document that they have when you go to join the app, like at it's like joinclubhouse.com. When you go there and you click, you read like their article that they wrote in July, and the whole thing is just filled with words like empathy and compassion and all these things. So it's built on good morals and principles. And as soon as I found out that it had no text, no video, and everything, I knew it was going to be the way, because it's the perfect middle ground for people to engage in the app passively without ever stopping their lives to do so.
Right.
You know?
Right. You listen to it in the car when you're dealing with other little things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like all the social media like features from other platforms combined without the stuff that you don't need in order to have an engaging interaction that's authentic, and where you can experience it deeply emotionally and glean from it or get from it the deepest of the whatever the connection is about. Like, it's the perfect middle ground. I mean, with the show that I do, it's every day for 3 hours, and people are on there consistently from the beginning to the end for 3 hours. If I do a Facebook live stream, even on my best days and best live streams, there's nobody hanging out with me there for 3 hours.
Right.
You know, because it takes up their entire phone. And that's the other thing about this app, the fact that you can be totally in an experience passively, and you can still go and use your phone for everything else while you're in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it is like, to me, hands down, it is like the best for connecting. And I knew before I got into it how potent it would be. But as soon as I got into it, and the first thing I did was I created a room on December 15th, and it was called, the room title was just, "Hi, I'm your 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time accountability partner. Good morning."
Right.
And what I did was, because I knew I always move into things strategically, and try to, immediately plug them into my formula in a way that makes sense. So I was like, I'm going to use this to get back up at the normal time in the morning that I want to get my day started. And I'm just going to do this as an alarm, almost like an alarm clock, and just hang out with other people and when I tell you, the people that dropped in on December 15th and every day since then are people that are with me every day, more than people that have been with me for years on social media.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy that said about a week ago, he's like, "Man, I don't know anybody who I talk to every single day." He's like, "This is amazing." But is that focused on interest? Is that focused on like finding your tribe? And then, like I said, because it's passive, because you don't have to show your face, and it helps people with insecurities. But even with the insecurities that you can hide, you still have to push past your insecurities to be a part of the environment. Yeah. So it has helped people who are introverts to speak up. It has helped people who haven't had good communication to have better. It's helped people who are rude and don't know how to have manners to have manners. Yeah, because like in most of the rooms that you go in, the overwhelming majority is there to have a good experience, which means bad experiences are pointed out quickly and removed or circumvented,
Sure.
And so it is absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's gone to the top of my list. I mean, I put a Facebook post up, like maybe it might be about a month ago now, and I was like, "Hey, so to all my Facebook family, I was like, if I'm a little quiet over here, probably because I'm over on Clubhouse." And I was like, it's just that it's so potent. And I was like, you might want to come over and hang with me. Last thing I'll say, right? When I got in there and I started doing the same exact thing that I do on other social forms of social media, Facebook and YouTube, but again, being the live person where people could talk to, when I looked at my comments, when I would finish a conversation, finish a room, and I would go look at my comments, the comments that I had on my social media, and say I'll take Instagram because by pointing you straight to Instagram from there. When I looked at my Instagram comments, the level of depth as far as emotion, as far as like, "Oh my gosh, like you really changed my life. Oh my gosh, like you are the greatest." It was like the emotional level went deeper than the emotional level of my normal people, and my normal people go deep.
Right.
And these were people that have known me for, I can't even say half the, it's like it's been a fraction that much of the time.
Right.
And are already like from that experience, like, "I love you so much. Like, this is amazing." it's just when you're a person that really has something to share, or you're an authentic person, it really, really does. It's just the most amazing thing on the planet, the most amazing platform, I believe. Real talk.
All right. Yeah. I'm on it, and I started, checking out some things. And yeah, there's definitely a culture of this is a positive thing, and everyone in the room is coming at it from that point of view.
Yeah. And just like anything else in life, and we talk about this every day on my show, like in some form or fashion, there's people there that, they venture out into other rooms where they don't belong, essentially, and they come back and they're like, it's crazy out here in these streets. And we all talk about it. It's only crazy if you're going in the wrong damn neighborhoods. That's it. It's just like life. It is literally a duplicate of life. You get to curate your experience. It shows that the cliche, the old adage that the people that you hang around and the people that you surround you, it creates what kind of experience you're gonna have. Where you go matters. If you surround yourself with positive energy, then it's more reinforcing. You see more of that. If it's negative, you see more of that. Right. The law of attraction is on steroids in there. Like no matter what you're attracting,
right?
And so and with that, and this is the other beautiful part I like about it. If you're gonna have a good experience, it's one of those things where it's because it forces you to be responsible around yourself, around your actions, and around who you hang with and where you go.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just amazing. And for me, it's also another good place to execute new ideas, because right now it's a growing environment where all new ideas are seen as interesting and fun, because we're developing the culture of what goes on here,
Right.
I mean, I've gotten on there and just played the piano, and people have gone nuts as if they never heard anybody play the piano before,
Okay. You mean just set up a room and say, at this time, I'm going to do a little show?
Yep.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yep. I've done that. I've played it in the midst of my morning show. It's one of those things, like when I did my first piano concert on here, it was the same thing I do on Facebook Live and everything. In fact, I was still doing it there. I just had another phone where it was just on Clubhouse. And the people that were in the audience, when they came up to the stage afterwards, right, I had them come up to the stage, and it was pretty much like a gig, it was where people are hanging out listening.
Yeah.
They're live. And then afterwards, you're packing up or what have you, hanging out, and then they hang out and say hello. And when they came to the stage, man, I mean, again, it was literally like they had never heard anyone play. And it wasn't that. It was just that in the midst of these times when they haven't been able to go to concerts, and when every other form of social media, even a live stream, is where the only way you can interact with the person is if you type and if they type back, but that's still not the same thing.
Right.
And musicians don't have time to bring everybody on camera. That would be a really good practice, though, to be honest, to at least have like a time period where you're like, okay, I'm going to hang out for another 30 minutes. And honestly, like in line, whoever is able to, boom, I'm just going to, and you get a chance to say hello to 20 people like that. That is even a tip to add to live stream.
But on Clubhouse, it's all just audio. It's just ear.
It's all audio. It's ear. And the people, when they came up after that first concert, the way they were expressing to me, and I forgot, like every day when I do this, I forget that I'm by myself. Like I literally don't feel alone.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel alone. And it's because you have everything you would have in a verbal and emotional interaction. Like I said, minus the thing that you don't actually really need to have that same thing. It just winds up being icing on the cake. Right. It's the reason why, this whole time, all these years, when the phone has been around, it's been why it's one of our favorite ways to communicate, because we don't always have to see each other. It's bonus. And when we don't, what makes it still feel social is all that other verbal and emotional in real time, real time back and forth, connection.
I'm totally with you on that. I mean, to this day, like Jesse Moody drummer who I worked with off and on for a long time. We had a phone call this morning. It was great. It was a phone call, a real old style phone call.
Yeah, yeah.
Laughter,
Yes.
inflection, and
yes,
that human. It's like part of it is just like, this is definitely seems to be a time where we're either all going to come together or the whole thing's over.
Right.
Kind of thing. So It's like, how do you integrate the technology? And I think Clubhouse is doing that definitely to some degree with that, with our real connections by way of whatever's happening with the internet. That kind of synthesis.
Well, if I understand you correctly, it sounds similar to what we've been talking about, where like I think the synthesis is the opportunity. Like I believe in opportunity over obligation. I think the synthesis is in the fact that we have this environment and it allows us to benefit from some of the things that we're missing socially. And there's opportunity there for creating things that cater to that and trying different things out. So I'll give you an example. One of the highlights from this past weekend, are you familiar with the Clubhouse Town Hall?
Not.
Okay. So the Town Hall is basically every Sunday at noon, the founders they host a room, and the room is where they're sharing testimonials from the week of Clubhouse testimonials that have happened, like big, amazing things, product updates, software updates, and then they answer questions, right? And every time I'm sitting in this town hall, it's every Sunday, 12 noon to 1. Like, if you get a chance, I really think you should check it out. Like, every time I'm sitting in this town hall listening, I feel so grateful because I know that I'm a part of a technological revolution and evolution in its inception. Like, I really feel honored. So the long story short is that, like, this past weekend, I mean, it was things like Elon Musk, it just got into Clubhouse and he held the room and it exploded because people could talk to him and we could ask a bunch of questions. Serena Williams, was the next day in somebody else's room. She was being interviewed. And at the same time, Raising the Sun was premiering and it exploded. I don't know if you know about a few of these other things, like The Lion King was done on December 26th here. It exploded, made it headline news. Dreamgirls, they had auditions and they had the show. Color Girls, the Star Wars directors hold rooms where they'll do meetings about the upcoming movie and share all the things, talk to the people. Like it's mind blowing.
Yeah. No.
So one of the highlights from this week, one of the testimonials was that Bomani X, the icon, the face that's on the icon, he's a guitar player. He wind up, him and this woman named Nicole Chestnut Whitmore, which last week I think it was, held a room where she raised like $15,000 for kids who didn't have laptops to be able to have laptops for their school experience. They wind up connecting and doing this jam session that wind up being this worldwide jam session. And right after that, from there, because they just decided, let's just try this, it exploded. And it exploded to the point where right after that, they came up with they started the ideas of continuing to develop that country by country. They've had 34 countries to sign up. And it literally just happened the other day. And that was the next day.
Wow.
Yes. To agree to be on this jam session list to do jam sessions. So
yes,
I'm saying that to say opportunity. I think the synthesis that we're talking about is the fact that this is here. This is the closest thing that we can get to social connection while still remaining safe and doing it through some form of, media. And it's on fire right now as far as ideas, because there is no like format as to like what to do or what's most common. It's just a pure ideas environment where pretty much damn near everything is working right now.
Yeah.
So
it's really vast. I don't know. I've been on there just kind of scoping out rooms and like, it's a lot happening.
It's a whole lot happening. And so, I think, at least to the best of my ability to answer that question, I think the synthesis, at least that we're working with here, is like, okay, we have this environment where we can do different things. I mean, like I have my Apollo interface here, and I have my iRig.
Yeah, what is this thing we're on, man, right now? Because I had to sign in and all that stuff.
So we're on StreamYard right now, which is basically like Zoom.
Okay.
But it's better because if you were to see it from my side, you can see comments in the app, right?
Okay.
So you can, and then as you saw it, like how I did with my baby girl, I can click on the comments and I can show the comments, and I can even change the look of these. Like I can, yeah. So this is like Zoom, but with benefit, like bonuses, and there's a free version. There's also like a $20 version. The reason why I use this, I've been using Zoom. I have a subscription, everything. Yeah. But the reason why I use this is because this allows you to broadcast to multiple platforms at one time.
Got it.
Yeah. So what I've done is, with YouTube, I can stream. You see, like these are like different. You can have different views for different reasons, depending on what you want to do.
I see what you're doing.
And like if I wanted to, this background here over top of us and the bottom, I could actually have branding up top and bottom. So I can have the show name and everything. Like it's really, really customizable.
Okay.
And and I like this because you can broadcast to multiple platforms. So I use Zoom, and Zoom you can publish to like Facebook or you can publish to YouTube. But this one, like you can go right now. I'm going to 3 locations. So my Facebook personal, my Facebook public figure, and my YouTube channel. And you can go up to, well, not with this package. I can go up to, I think it's 4 or 5 with this package. No, I'm sorry. Actually, I can do it. With this package I have, you can go up to 8. You can stream to up to 8 places.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Now, I don't use them all because I have I don't use Periscope, so I don't stream there. And then with Facebook, I have 2 pages. I also have a group too, and that's why I got this package, because sometimes I'll stream to my group depending on the day, because if a specific kind of content goes to that group. But yeah, this is StreamYard. I'm sorry if I didn't mention it already. This is StreamYard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. There's so much out there, and I'm behind the curve, man.
Well,
my son is a second-year computer science major at UMBC, so
Yeah. Well, I love it because right. You got your son there. And then honestly, I feel like, you might say you're behind the curve, but man, just the fact that you're interested in inquiring and even just like game for even figuring this stuff out, that like things that'll work for you, to me is like,
yeah. As long as I'm alive, that's going to continue.
Right. I feel you with that. That's how I am too.
Yeah. No, you are, man. I mean, I hope that, we can this spring definitely do a piano guitar collaboration.
Yes.
That would be cool. I love that.
Yes.
Alan Blackman?
Yes.
Yeah. So me and him did he teaches, he's on staff at Howard Community College, and they have a concert hall there with a nice Steinway. Really nice.
Wow.
And we did a show. We did just guitar piano for like minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
That was great.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm definitely looking to for us to sit down and come together with something. Like really, when I start my street serenades, and that kind of thing, I'll also reach out to you whenever and plan a date for that. But for sure.
No, you've inspired me in that regard just now. I knew many things good would come out of the conversation with you, because I knew.
Yes, sir.
Joe is a guy I want to talk to.
Man.
First of all, I totally appreciate your time. But off the top of my head, it's just like, spring is coming around the corner. And I mean, I can always just take my amp and just go set up. And I've done that.
Right.
And I wound up meeting some interesting people back in the fall when I did that. I have a couple. I'm actually a little bit involved with something called like gifting, where I'm just giving a lesson to some folks and
Right.
Just take the lessons.
Right.
And then see what happens. Right.
Right.
I met this one guy. John Tyler?
I don't actually.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, man. He's
Uh-huh.
done some music performances. He's the one that got me into Clubhouse.
Mm.
So he's a young dude living with his mom, going to Bowie University, not really into it, but trying to get a college degree because that's what he's supposed to do. But he's in music production, and he's put on some shows in Baltimore. I'll send you a link to some of the things he's done.
Okay.
But I didn't know any of this, man. I was playing. He walked around the corner. He said, "Wow, man, I've been looking for like a jazz guitar teacher." I said, "I think you found him."
Wow.
That's how that happened, And I'm like, it seems like you get that. It's like sometimes you just take it out to the world and then see what's happening. When I was living on the farm, I knew I needed to get back into Baltimore because I felt like there's some way with music, Baltimore could use some healing on that level.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm still kind of formulating that, I'm still like reaching out. There's probably a tribe or there's probably like a few folks here and there. It doesn't have to be all that formal. And sometimes in life, you have to stop and just kind of take a break before the next thing takes off.
Right. I agree.
It seems like we're in that kind of place with the COVID a little bit.
I do believe that in some ways we are. The thing about this time is that we're forced to stop and look within ourselves and figure out, what's what and how we're going to respond to this. I think for some people it's definitely incubator time. For me, I'm just like, don't stop totally. Like some people are like waiting on the world to, and I'm like, it's not gonna go back to the way that it was before.
I totally believe that.
Yeah, I'm like,
I totally believe that. So don't stop. Right, don't really stop. I mean, there's a piece of the external, the hang.
Yes.
So the after the gig hang that was always so fun to go grab a bite to eat and just take that energy from the music. Like that's the other thing I don't like. I've got another live stream coming up. Rodney Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to do a live stream at Andy in March.
Nice.
But it's like after those things are, as soon as the camera goes off.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And it's funny you said that too, because I have so much empathy around that. I have been used to making videos, to recording by myself, recording in the studio, doing entire concerts, nobody around, like so much so that like for me it's just another day and I don't even think about it. But it wasn't until I was at Andy Music and I was playing with a couple groups there, and what I noticed was like I didn't feel the cats like like they were playing, but they weren't playing. And I was like, oh, that's right. And I'm playing as if it's 1,000 people there, but I was like, oh, that's right. For some people, they're not used to playing just pure, many people, not some people, many people are not used to playing in a purely virtual environment. And so they're not getting that energy that pushes them to play. Me on the other hand, I'm so used to making videos. I'm like, I'm already at the experience of the people that are gonna enjoy it, and I'm thinking about the smiles on their faces while I'm playing. Or I'm just so used to being in that element that I'm my own self motivator when it comes to playing. And again, it was interesting because it wasn't that they weren't playing, but they weren't digging in. And it gave me empathy. I was like, that's right. For many of my musician brothers and sisters, that level is not reached unless there's somebody there to actually clap, to actually scream, to actually, and I was like, I get it. We're all learning. The one thing I like about it is that even though it has its cons, the pros is that, it's forcing us to find that. It's forcing us to actually find more joy and happiness in what we do. For, in addition to how we bring it to people, and so, but with that, it's an empathy thing though, big for me.
In a way, what you're saying is that if there's a lot of ego in you as a musician, this is putting a little check on that.
Yep, it's putting a check. First thing it's doing is exposing.
Yeah.
Yeah. First thing is doing is it's like bringing it straight to your face where you can't get around it. And then after that, yeah, you're either going to check it and deal with it, or you're going to walk away with your tail in between your legs and say, I don't want to do this. This is bullshit. And I get it. But at the same time, hey, you got to live your life. So no matter what, no matter how you feel, the world is the world. And it's just the way it is. You're either going to, you know, get a hold of yourself or work to and do self-care and do the things that's needed so that you can move through and still be at peace and still find happiness, or you're going to fold and crumble under it all. The thing is, that's evolution. It's the wave. I always say it's like the wave is there. You're either going to look at it and just watch the shit crash over you and destroy you, or you're going to grab your surfboard and figure out how to surf on it and use the momentum. But it's a wave. What doesn't break you makes you, so that's why I say, as tough as this time is, when we come through this stronger and more powerful than ever, because it's leveled the playing field. Right now yes, on a certain degree there's different forms of supremacy, and there's all these other things, but on some level we're all the same, and we're all trying to figure this thing out together. So it makes us more humble, more empathetic. It exposes the places where we're egotistical. It shows whether we really have inside of us that purpose-driven life, or whether it's all external. Self-care is more important than ever. Like it brings everything to a head. And I have so much empathy for humanity, but the optimist in me says, like, this is tough, but if you make it through this, you come out on the other side stronger. We come out on the other side better.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's true. And things can turn really quick, man. We saw that last summer.
Right. Right.
Last summer, a few different episodes there, man.
That's true.
Where, I'm thinking particularly of George Floyd, of course, but just all of a sudden, everybody's out on the street, and that happened really quick. So, things change, things crumble. Sometimes it happens quick.
That's it.
Like what I'm thinking is off of what you just said. This is that, okay, so this is a time for self-care, for like reevaluating your life, for really kind of realizing what's really important here,
right,
for me, but for my community. And if you have a lot of the people on the planet doing that kind of work, when the next thing kind of sparks.
Yes. Yep. Opportunity. There we are. We're ready for it. We're ready for it. And so that's where I stand. And I'm just here every day for as many people as I can help to stay in that mindset, to make it through it. I really believe this is a time where I say, like, it's all hands on deck, meaning, like, I say this every day. I'm like, if you have anything that can bring a smile to another person's face or help them through this, like, we're all counselors right now. We're all therapists. We all are just helping each other through. And that's why we're helping ourselves through, which is why I'm always pushing people to whatever makes you happy, leaning into that, and then starting to live your life through that, or figure out if there's a way to. Because if you can lean into that for your own self-care, whatever that may be, whether it's music, whether it's cooking, whether it's readings. For some people, like, another one of my things now is I'm just out and about in nature, taking pictures of nature, and it's making me happy. Like, it's making other people happy. I took a trip out to Brookside Gardens, which is it's like right out 29, going right past Columbia, and it's just a park, with beautiful trees and that kind of thing. And I went there during autumn.
Yeah.
And so I just hung out there, took some really nice pictures. In fact, I learned how to use my iPhone to another level as far as taking, like, really nice aesthetic pictures. Yeah. So I did that, and I was just hanging out there with a friend. When I came back, though, because I had filmed just some footage as well as the pictures, when I came back, I came home, I sat at the piano, I played an arrangement of Autumn Leaves that I just wrote on the spot, and I put it with the pictures and video, and that's my, that's what I'm putting out into the world,
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, I'm getting ready to do the same thing with Maiden Voyage. I'm gonna find somewhere where I can just watch some boats and just be hanging out with people, and I'm gonna just have fun filming. and I'm gonna come home and I'm just throw out that video to a maiden voyage like a cool people. And it's just now, the one thing I say is, again, all hands on deck. If you have anything that you can bring to the people, a positive word, a message, a song, a picture, whatever, and through your self-care, helping others, because everybody is able to now, if you have the ability to create an experience so that people can check out of the news cycle and just for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, just tune into a different experience in that regard, we are helping ourselves. We're helping each other through this. We are our own therapists right now.
Right on, man.
So
yeah, time, man. It's
yeah,
been, man. I just, I'm just being aware, cognizant of the time, because
it's all good. I'm thankful. It's this is our very first time getting a chance to like hang out, and I want to thank you, for your time as well, man, and for just, the fun here. Before we roll, is there anything else that that I can either answer a question with or share a perspective on about whether it's Clubhouse or tech or anything else, or outside of that, even if it's just if there's anything else?
No, man. I'm grateful. You got the wheels spinning again, and in some certain areas.
Nice.
Around. Like my thing is like I'm definitely interested in music for sure.
Right.
But I'm very much aware of like what it is to be a human being in terms of our emotions. And also I'm kind of aware of like the systemic oppression that people around the world are up against right now. I mean, there's a lot of zones that I operate in, because those are the areas that for me, make me feel alive and also connect me to the whole world in general.
Right.
I definitely, you were mentioning earlier about kind of one-dimensional musicians who live and die by the definition of who they are as a musician.
Yeah.
And like, no, I'm not. I'm definitely more broad at this point.
I love it.
With that, and which informs the music into a better place, I think. Anyway.
Yes.
It
does, man.
So, no, man. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, let's catch up again soon. I would love to help you to continue to develop out some ideas that if you desire to put some fun things together for yourself, like especially what we talked about with the cooking and music thing. I would love to throw some ideas at you that I think you might find fun, or you might find like to help you piece that together or anything else. And we'll just catch up and check in, period, just to keep each other lifted on the journey, man.
Absolutely. That's what it is. It's been an absolute pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine, man. And I'll catch up and we'll talk soon, bro.
Okay.
All right. Take care now.
Okay.
All right. You too. Yes. I tell you, good times with good people. And so we're here every day, moving forward, helping ourselves, helping us to help us. It's an absolute pleasure meeting Mike. This is our very first time ever talking in life and having a conversation. And so thank you for hanging out, chopping it up with Aaron Hill. See you all soon. Take care. Peace.